The monarchy in Britain is an interesting case. It's easy to portray it as ridiculous and anachronistic. These people are unelected, they're hereditary, and despite that, the monarch in Britain has a remarkable degree of actual theoretical power. The monarch can disband parliament, can declare war. A lot of people don't know this. Of course, they never would, otherwise they'd face a big Republican backlash. So what do we really have here? What we actually have, I think, is a prevailing of the major organizing principle on a planet, which is a free market economy. People liked the monarchy under the Queen. That is the only version of the monarchy that they knew. And Queen Elizabeth II made it popular. People liked her in Britain and outside of Britain. They wanted it to succeed. It became, in effect, a net positive in terms of the business, and it became a tourist attraction. Will Charles really be able to perpetuate that the way his mother did for over 70 years, I think is a very open question, given that, as I say, on paper, the monarchy is not necessarily defensible. I think he was trying to suggest in his speeches that he would. Certainly he'll try, and it remains to be seen how well he will succeed.
Well, giving a try is halfway there, some say. It remains to be seen indeed. And meeting with the newly appointed Prime Minister, Liz Truss, shortly before his first speech Friday. Can we say Britain is in shambles with all those shifts in powers?
Well, I mean, Britain is in the midst of one of history's spectacular own goals, which is Brexit. And poor Liz Truss is the embodiment of this, because like most of the Conservative Party leadership, she opposed Brexit. And now she's somewhat populistically is trying to ride the nationalist tiger, and she's pretending to be a pro-Brexit person and trying to annoy the Europeans in every way she possibly can. I think Britain is in difficult, dire straits economically because of what I call an own goal. Their per capita GDP has fallen by 5% minimum as a result of Brexit. And of course, now we have the double inconvenience of the very poor COVID reaction under Boris Johnson, plus the invasion of Ukraine by Vladimir Putin, which has driven natural gas costs through the roof. Britain is not directly dependent on Russian natural gas, but the price affects them. And obviously, we're looking at a very difficult winter in Britain. Inflation is past 10%. Energy inflation had been risking much higher levels than that. Now Truss is trying to set a cap on energy costs, but clearly Britain is facing grave challenges.
Well, obviously, two very different timetables, but perhaps to an extent, both the King and the Prime Minister, and in between, so to speak. Before we let you go, Dan Perry, do you think King Charles is expected to become more political, not just in the context of Israel, but generally speaking?
I think it's in Charles' nature to try to do that. You know, Charles has, as Prince Charles, tried to make a difference here and there. I mean, a lot of it had to do with gardening and architecture or whatever, but he clearly has an itch to be a political player. And it is remarkable the degree to which Elizabeth resisted that urge. I mean, for her main political contribution was really the championing of the Commonwealth, which had a role to play in the sort of like elegant come down from colonialization. And some people have criticized her nonetheless for her role as at the end of Britain's status as a colonial power. I think Charles may want to be a little bit more political. And, you know, as I say, the monarchy has its traditions, but it also is in a way indefensible. It is what you make of it. And Charles, I think, has currently benefits from the soft bigotry of low expectations. People didn't think much of him, and yet he is a bit of an intellect. He is a person with ambition, and he comes to the throne at a time when there is a crisis of legitimacy for global democracy. Democracies all over the world are yielding dangerous and strange results, and I think there is a bit of nostalgia for some constant that maybe Charles can tap into.
Well, nostalgia and the crown, profoundly intertwined, always been. Dan Perry, thank you very much for this, and have a restful remaining weekend.